Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Perspective. We have with us Senator Faisal Javed from the PTI today, who has been with the PTI since its inception. He's also been with Prime Minister Imran Khan since his struggle, from the very political struggle from the very beginning. Of course, we have questions for him about the no confidence motion, about all the issues that are being raised at this time, about the politics of opposition, as far as their agitation is concerned, as far as the hurling of accusations and counter accusations are concerned, all of those things today. And a little later on, we'll be talking about Pakistan and US relations. Thank you so much for joining us today, Senator Saab. First of all, of course, there's no secret about what's happening as far as the no confidence motion is concerned. And it seems like, again, there is this joining of all the major opposition parties together against the government. It wouldn't be wrong to say this is not the first time as far as the government is concerned. I mean, you've been facing the onslaught of the opposition again and again. But this time, it seems like they've come closer than before. Is that true?
Thank you, MARUKH, for inviting me on your program. You're doing a great job. First of all, I tell you what, you're right. This is not the first time. When Prime Minister was making his first speech in the National Assembly, right after 5 minutes, opposition started, they started creating this call for NRO. They started demanding that unless Imran Khan doesn't give them NRO, they're not going to let the government continue. And they said that we want our cases to be finished pre 16th November 1999. This was their demand, and they started it from the first day. And ever since then, they've been repeatedly doing the same thing. They want relief from their corruption cases, and that is their objective, nothing else, not at all. And Prime Minister has categorically said that he's not going to give them NRO, which they have done in past with General Musharraf as well, twice, both parties. And from 2008 to 2018, PPP and PMLN, they were ruling, and they've been giving NROs to each other as well. But this time around, it is Imran Khan in front of them who has said is not going to give them NROs. So now this is not the first movement against him. So they did their marches, they did their rallies, they've been threatening with their own resignations from the parliament, was Latife, Bane Latife. And now this vote of no confidence. It is not vote of no confidence. It is note of no confidence. They're offering people. They're paying. They're offering them with money. 18 crore, 20 crore is the rate going on these days.
And that accusation is also coming from the opposition, though, right? For the government.
We don't have to complete our number. They have to do their homework. They have to complete their number. They're the ones who are offering, because when we brought in Prime Minister voluntarily took vote of confidence from the parliament, where we had to complete our number, and we needed 172 and we were above 180. Over here, they will not be able to cross 154.
So you don't think that they're any closer than they've ever been before?
No, I mean, they've never been there, and yet again they will fail. And they will fail because the majority in their parties as well, they realize the fact that only these families, they're just trying to protect their own corruption. So this mantra, this whole narrative of theirs has miserably failed. Nowhere in the world opposition does this, because opposition's role in real democracy is constructive. Wherever the government goes wrong, they make corrections, and when the government is going right, they support the government. This is the role of opposition in any society.
Faisal Sahab, I have to play the devil's advocate
here.
Yeah,
you should.
When we talk about, when we talk to the opposition and we say these things to them, they say that this politics of agitation is something that started from your political party. It is PTI that set the tone for this kind of opposition.
Really?
How would you answer this?
PTI, when we were in opposition, we played a very constructive role. We accepted their government, but we did not accept rigging in elections. 11th of May 2013, elections were held. Prime Minister was in the hospital in Shaukat Khanam, and from the hospital bed he said, we accept your government, but we will not accept this rigging.
Okay.
So he asked to open 4 constituencies
Okay.
to probe into the matter and fix it for, it was not that we wanted the government to go. We wanted to fix this electoral system in Pakistan. That was it. And we did 126 days sit-in, peaceful
Okay.
sit-in here, right here in,
Okay.
in front of
What
the
about-
parliament. So
Let's move on from, let's talk about Punjab. There is, that of course is something that is a major contention at this time as far as the performance of the Chief Minister Punjab is concerned, questions about, allied parties not agreeing to a suitable candidate. How would you respond to that?
well, I mean, his performance has been great administratively, I tell you what. He is probably not a media-savvy person.
Okay,
Probably there's this of a presentation issue
okay,
with the Punjab government, I would say.
okay.
Not only with Usman Buzdar, but I tell you what, his performance has been phenomenal.
Okay.
All MPs tell us that. But this whole system of what they call in Urdu is makhloot hukumat. When you have allies in the government,
Right. fair
then there are different identities, different manifestos coming
Right.
together.
Right.
In this case, we have PML Qaid-e-Azam, then we
Right.
have MQM Pakistan.
Right.
So they would have their reservations, which are sorted, and in Punjab as well, there are reservations which will be addressed. Prime Minister is meeting them, and I do hope those reservations will be addressed. It's not only the matter of Chief Minister Punjab. It's not only that. It's beyond that. So all those reservations would be addressed, and there will be consensus. Yeah.
But you can comment on whether there will be a change, or you don't think there will be.
Well, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm saying that it's not only the change of Chief Minister. It is beyond that. I mean, there are many other reservations of different political
You're
parties.
saying that because you have allies who you have to take with you, you have to
Yeah.
address their reservations
yeah.
from time to time.
Yeah.
Is that also the reason why we have, of course, when PTI came in, there was all this talk about reform, and the Prime Minister still talks about it. He talks about the move for criminal justice reform, the move for electoral reform, which you've also mentioned. All of those things also are not as easy as perhaps they would have been if the numbers were different for the government.
Yeah, of course. But we did a great job. I mean, I tell you what, let's not talk about past, but in recent past what happened, there was this bill in the Senate of State Bank. Allies were standing with us. Then we did more than 38 legislations in one day, including EVM, electronic voting machine, electoral reforms, and internet voting for overseas Pakistanis, and many other legislations. Our allies were standing with us. So in reforms agenda, I mean, we have World Bank rated Pakistan among top 6 countries who have done great reforms, especially in ease of doing business, investments, and everything. So, reforms take time. Implementation takes more time. So those things have been done. What Imran Khan has done has not been done during past 30 years, but he has done just in 3 years' time.
In terms of change, because you've been with the party from the very beginning, of course it's come into power the first time. You have a lot of people with you who have been in power before, but also people like you who have been with the Prime Minister from the beginning. Do you feel that there is a change, from the beginning to what the way the party is structured and looks like now?
Yeah, party expanded a lot, and being in the government, especially today, PTI is the largest political party of Pakistan. Why? The whole of Pakistan. We are in government in Kashmir, we are in government in Gilgit-Baltistan, we are government in Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Punjab, here in federal, and next time Sindh as well. And we got, good number of seats in Sindh, especially in capital of Sindh, Karachi. So it's the party of federation, okay, representing all units. So this is the only, back in Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's era, People's Party was the party of federation, not now anymore. It only belongs to some of the parts of interior Sindh only. So it has shrunk. But PTI has expanded. So we are the only party of federation. So yes, when party grows, issues grow. You know, the more and more issues to deal with. Challenges, Imran Khan loves challenges. He is excited. He loves taking challenges, and that's what his life has always been about. I mean, he does know how to deal with such challenges, and inshallah he will succeed.
Right, you mentioned, right, we'll be taking a short break and we'll be back to talk some more with Senator Faisal Javed. Please stay with us. Right, welcome back. We're in conversation with Senator Faisal Javed. Senator, you mentioned right now about Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. The Prime Minister is talking about international conspiracies also. He's also talking about the fact that, of course, his recent visit of Russia, China, his move, the OIC conference, which is also happening. All of those things, and also the fact that behind whatever is happening on the domestic front, there's also international conspiracy. How would you respond to that?
Well, first of all, I tell you what, during past 3 years, due to our great foreign policy, today Pakistan has great relations with every country except for India, and that too can be improved if India takes back its decisions on Kashmir.
Right.
Okay. So we have great relations with all the countries, including the US, Russia, China,
right.
all countries, because you know, Prime Minister mentions one thing, that from do more to absolutely not, this journey, you know, Pakistan has to look into its own interest rather than protecting interest of other countries, which in past has been the case, where all our predecessors, I mean, all those things came in WikiLeaks as well. What would they say to them? And you know, looking after their interest, and just for the sake, because all of them, they have their assets abroad, they have their properties abroad. So they have this fear that if they go against their wish, their assets will be frozen.
Okay.
And that's the problem with them. So with Prime Minister, that's not the case. So he is his position, his stance is very clear that Imran Khan is pro-peace and anti-war. He has said that categorically few times, that we can be partners in peace, but we cannot be partners in war, in conflict.
Right.
The European Union Council President calls Prime Minister Imran Khan and requests him to sort of mediate between Russia and Ukraine. So, you know, and this has a historic perspective to it as well.
Okay.
Because during the Doha dialogue, Prime Minister Imran Khan, Pakistan played a crucial role in facilitating that dialogue process between the US and Afghanistan. And in the evacuation process from Afghanistan, Pakistan played a great role. And war against terror, Pakistan sacrificed over 80,000 lives,
Right.
lost about over $123 billion. For what? For restoring peace in the entire world and in the region particularly. So Pakistan made great sacrifices, and today Pakistan wants to stand on its own feet, and that is our position. Regarding this conspiracy, I tell you what, all these politicians, PMLN, their leadership and People's Party leadership, they are foreigners themselves. They don't belong to here. Their children say that don't ask us, they tell courts that, Pakistani courts, that don't ask us any question because we are not Pakistanis. They're foreigners. They have foreign passports. They live there, they do business there, they have their properties there. They come to Pakistan only to rule and to steal and plunder and, you know, loot the country and shift their assets abroad. So this is what they do. I mean, they are foreigners themselves, and they have links. And what Prime Minister is trying to tell people, that all these political parties, they are on somebody's else agenda just to protect their assets abroad.
That is a narrative of the PTI government at this time, yes. But otherwise, as far as challenges are concerned, and I think the Prime Minister has acknowledged on numerous times that there are challenges as far as economy is concerned, as far as on international front, of course. India, of course, being a hostile neighbor, you know, we witnessed what happened as far as the missile was concerned, whether it was a mistake or not, very recently. So there are numerous challenges the government faces from all around at this time. Overall, do you think that that perhaps may give the opposition some fodder as far as challenges like economic challenges, price hike, inflation, all those things are concerned?
I mean, those, when we came in government, Prime Minister Imran Khan took oath, there were challenges, there were on the economic front, there were huge challenges, but Prime Minister Imran Khan, due to his policies, fixed all of that. And during the COVID times, you know, Pakistan, the way Pakistan managed, endorsed by all international forums. World Bank appreciated it, praised it. Bill Gates praised Pakistan, then World Economic Forum, Bloomberg, Economist rated us among the top 3 countries for 3 consecutive years. We've done a great recovery from this COVID. 5.37 our growth rate, where due to COVID, all countries suffered. But with the blessings of Allah, Pakistan really showed a great progress in economic. After 1960s, Pakistan, for the first time, has gone back to industrialization. You see, our construction industry is booming at the moment. Remittances, record tax collection, record exports, IT exports, 10 years, 10 dams project, health card, you know, universal health coverage, which is not free anywhere in the world.
I want to come
even
to those
in developed
policies.
countries. But what I'm trying to tell you is that all these challenges were dealt with, and mashallah, Pakistan is in the right direction. That's why these opposition parties, they're concerned, because if Imran Khan succeeds, Pakistan succeeds, then they are gone forever. They're not going to come back. So that's why they want to throw out Imran Khan.
But you do acknowledge that as far as price hike and inflation are concerned, those are concerns that the government is addressing, working on?
Yes, exactly. We do realize we're the only government who admits that, yes, there is inflation, and it's all over the world because of COVID. 40 years after 40 years in America, after 25 years in Germany, same goes for all other countries, UK, you know, same issues everywhere. But yes, we admit it, and we're working on that. And Prime Minister recently announced a great package where just because we collected record taxes, and we are now trying to sort of transfer this benefit to the people. More taxes, more benefit. That's why we reduced petrol by 10 rupees and diesel and
So in terms
electricity as well.
As far as the opposition is concerned, we've also seen the government go towards, you know, as far as FATF is concerned, that was another challenge. We've also again been retained on the grey list. That hasn't, you know, of course the government, they have acknowledged the efforts made in that regard, there's no doubt about that. But in terms of making things more transparent, do you think that's also one of the reasons why we are having this kind of a hue and cry from the opposition? Because things, as far as this government is concerned, economy overall, you know, you're moving towards a more transparent economy, a more, you know, clamping down on money laundering, all of those things?
Yeah, more documented economy, exactly. And plus, regarding FATF, had there not been this political instability, we would have been out of the grey list. We would have been in white list. These are the people who put us in the grey list, PMLN and People's Party. They had taken Pakistan to blacklist as well. So from black to grey, and now from grey, out of 27, 26 points have been addressed, sorted. And technically speaking, we should have been out of the grey list.
Because we've also had Moeed Yusuf say that there is, as far as this whole process is concerned, there's politics involved.
There's absolutely. This is not technical, this is political. And this is very unfortunate that, and we should have been out of the grey list a year ago. But there's politics going on. And
When we mention politics, what about the Pakistan and US relations? Because, you know, from time to time we have the opposition come out and talk about phone calls by the US president, all of those things. Overall, as far as our own Pak-US relations are concerned, you know, how would you rate them? How relevant are they in the larger scheme of things?
They're relevant. I mean,
Right.
of course, we have great relations with the US. And there'll be good news coming up very soon. And look, US-Pakistan relations, there are some people who are trying to create some misconceptions.
Okay.
And this political instability is not good for Pakistan, and which we will deal with within the next 2 to 3 days. It will be sorted. You'll
Okay.
see their vote of no confidence or note of no confidence would fail miserably. Then you will see Pakistan will. But with the US, we have great relations. I mean, I don't see anything. I mean, look, recently a delegation was there. I was part of it,
Okay.
and we had meetings at the Capitol Hill with different senators and congressmen and congresswomen, and they're all looking towards Pakistan, especially in the IT sector, the Pakistan and climate change as well. So this huge potential of Pakistan, where we have 70% of our population below the age of 40, young population, it's a huge
Right.
potential.
Right.
And worldwide, we are the third largest gig economy now. So, you know, all those things are there. Pakistan has come way forward, way ahead of time, and the US is looking forward to collaborating with Pakistan. Not only the US, all developed countries are willing to collaborate with Pakistan, and we have great relations, but all these the corrupt people, the corrupt politicians are trying to sabotage the whole thing, are trying just they want to throw Imran Khan out of the government because he's not signing any deal with them. They are only concerned with their corruption cases. So because of that, they can cross any limit.
When you talk about politics of agitation, certainly, like you are saying, there are challenges on international front, domestic front also. But as far as this politics of agitation is concerned, isn't it possible from the very beginning? You are talking, of course, there's that deal issue that you're talking about, accountability issue. But isn't it possible for there to be some kind, there was, you know, earlier talk of a charter of economy, so to speak, or, you know, a charter where some things would be above politics as far as the opposition is concerned, so that there could be some sort of working relationship between the government and the opposition, which has not happened, unfortunately, 3.5 years into the government.
Yes, you're right, you're right. And we tried it many times. I tell you what, there are references to that. First, we tried during the FATF thing.
Okay.
We sat with them, we made a committee. Then we sat with them on electoral reforms. We made a committee, including all political parties. They were part of it. And then the COVID management and what not on every issue on this national security policy. There was a parliamentary committee led by a speaker, and all parties were part of it. On every issue, we took them on board, and we wanted to sort of sit with them. In every meeting, they would bring that 32 amendment proposal in the NAB ordinance.
Right.
They gave it to Shah Mahmood Qureshi to hand it over to Imran Khan and get it signed. And it says that please give us relief from our corruption cases. All those 32 points are related to their own corruption cases. So whenever we want to talk to them, they bring this condition. So it is subjected to the approval of that deal, which cannot be done. Jana Musharraf realizes, and he has admitted on television as well, that his biggest blunder in life was giving NRO to these people. So Imran Khan would never ever do that. Okay, not with their leadership, but there are many great people in PMLN and in People's Party who are clean, and they don't believe in the kind of politics PMLN and People's Party leadership they're doing.
Okay.
So we can sort of have dialogue with them, but not with these people who are demanding NRO. We can have dialogues with them if they don't seek NRO.
Okay.
If they so we've been trying to sort of have a dialogue with them, you know, because in politics it works. It has to work, that you need to sit together and you know on many issues. But whenever we invited them, they disappointed us.
Do you think that there's a possibility, because if this no confidence motion fails, which is what you are saying that it invariably will, if it happens, the way that the opposition has joined this time, it's you know, the general consensus is that it would be difficult for them to get together in that manner again to derail the government, because it will weaken them considerably. Do you think then the government, perhaps, will you extend a hand again to the opposition to perhaps sit with you on those core issues?
Minus people who are demanding NRO,
Okay.
minus them, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and there will be a lot of people joining us then.
Okay.
I tell you what, the scenario after this vote of no confidence failing, it will be completely different. Many people from PML and People's Party, they would join us, and it will be better. But people who don't want to join us, and they want to keep their identity there, we can talk to them, not with the people who not with the people who are seeking NRO and relief from the corruption cases, not with them. Minus
Shehbaz
them.
Sharif Saab is the opposition leader at this
They
time.
have to change their opposition leader then.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit, I know that you are pressed for time, but can you tell us a little bit about the government's pro-poor policies that the Prime Minister has gone out of his way, and I think today again you are going to be part of another Jalsa. The Prime Minister has talked about the SARS program, among other things. Again, you mentioned the health card, all of those initiatives of the government. Do you think that, you know, so there's a lot of talk about how it seems like the PTI has gone into electioneering mode.
No, we've been in electioneering mode from day one. I tell you why, because we are working every day and giving, you know, all these reforms are now people are going to sort of get benefit of all these reforms and what policies Imran Khan brought. And now is the time that we need to go ahead. I mean, it's not because of opposition bringing no vote of no confidence. We were otherwise doing jalsas. We were otherwise the Prime Minister was going in different cities and different areas, and especially this health card, you know, it's been like more than a year now. He's been doing different events at different places, you know, whatever he has done for the people, he himself is going and giving it to them. So number one, a typical politician will only think about next elections,
Right.
but a leader will always consider not next election, next generation.
Okay.
And 10 years, 10 dams project is on the cards. The work is going on. Within 10 years, we'll build 10 dams. But during the past 50 years, not a single dam was built in Pakistan. Pakistan receives annually 145 million acre feet of water. Allah gives us. But we can only save 13.6 million acre feet of water, which is not even 10% of what we're getting. So we don't have big reservoirs, so there's a need. So 10 years, 10 dam project, then this environment project, the 10 billion tree project is going on. Out of 10 billion, we have already planted over 2 billion trees. And then a SARS program, you know, it's rated by World Bank among top 4 programs in the world, social welfare programs, by World Bank. They did a research on 222 countries. And out of 3,333 projects, a SARS project was rated among top 4. Huge success for Pakistan, all right? Then health card, it's for free, the universal health coverage. Nowhere in the world it's free. Even in developed countries, they couldn't do it. Obama couldn't do it in America.
So there is
Pakistan,
criticism.
Imran Khan has done in Pakistan.
So there is criticism that where will all the resources come for, you know, for all of these projects that are being announced at this time, for all of this relief for the people that is being announced? Will there be money within the next budget, within the economy to fund all of these projects?
Because our tax collection has gone up.
Okay.
And we are hoping that next year it will increase further. So there's tax collection, there's FDI has gone up.
Okay.
So investments are going up. Remittances have gone up. $30 billion is going to touch. IT exports for the first time in the history crossed $2 billion, and it is going to touch $10 billion in the next few years. So yeah, I mean, there are great signs.
So you think that it will translate in you know, to the masses very soon?
Yes, it is. It has started translating.
Okay.
But with this inflation thing is going to continue for next 1 or 2 months. Then it will also go down, because Ukraine-Russia war is going on, and
Right.
oil prices have gone up.
But the Prime Minister has said that there won't be any increase.
No increase until the next budget, but because of this tax collection, we are pumping in money and giving relief to people. There will be no increase.
Okay.
But the situation will get better. International oil prices will go down, because Ukraine-Russia thing has really sort of created a lot of problems for the poor countries like us, economy-wise. Yeah.
Overall, as far as Pakistan's efforts on peace are concerned, the Prime Minister, again, like you also mentioned, he's been an ambassador for peace as far as Afghanistan is concerned. He's categorically appealed to the world, and he's talked about the fact that it is a humanitarian crisis before anything else. Before, we talk about the American involvement or anything else, the point is it's people who are facing hunger, all of those things. And I think on an international front, no other leader has agitated or spoken for the people of Afghanistan quite as much. He's also in some countries been criticized for it. What do you say to that?
Why would people criticize for speaking for humanity?
Fair enough.
Why would people criticize somebody who's speaking for peace? When he met President Putin in Russia, he talked about peace. He said war is not the solution. I mean, how these, especially liberals, so-called liberals, they're always pro-war. Whenever Imran Khan talks about peace, they criticize him. Whenever he talks about real human rights, they criticize him. And they call themselves liberals. They are not liberals. The problem is that Imran Khan has raised Kashmir issue, has raised Afghanistan issue for the people of Afghanistan, for the human beings. For the it's going to be a humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan if the world doesn't come and help them.
Right.
And he raised voice against Islamophobia. All these things are related to human beings. All these things are for human rights. So everybody has to support. People who criticize, they have no idea. They would sit in drawing rooms and do on Twitter, and they are practically not doing anything. Just for the sake of criticism, they criticize everything that Imran Khan does.
Okay, just just the last question. As far as your vision for PTI is concerned, if this no conference motion fails, how do you see the next year? You think more people-to-people contact will increase as far as the Prime Minister and his team are concerned? You will see more political gatherings. How do you see the next year or so?
Yeah, you're right. I see more of political gatherings of PTI, and we have planned already. We know that it's going to fail. Vote of no confidence will fail. And after that, yes, we'll be more active, and because next year in October 2023, general elections are being held, and we do hope that Imran Khan has this card which will win him elections with 2/3 majority, as we won it in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa as well. For the first time in the history of Pakistan, a same party government gets repeated, not only comes back into the power again, but also takes 2/3 majority. Same will happen in the center as well this time around, and in Punjab as well. We'll come back with a 2/3 majority. Otherwise, boss, I tell you what, MARUKH, this system cannot work.
Okay.
This system cannot work. We need to fix it. We need to have a grand debate. What are the problems with the system?
But then we'll need all parties on board for
all
that.
parties on board, all clean people on board. There are many clean people in PMLN, in People's Party, in other political parties. They're great people. They need to apply their mind. They need to sit. They need to think about future generations to come. That where are we going wrong with this system, this blackmailing system, this whole constituency politics system. We need to evaluate it. I'm not saying change it, but I'm saying at least have a debate. Have a debate on it. Having a debate on it is not a sin.
Yes, but it's been unheard of in Pakistan's history.
It's unheard of in Pakistan history.
Right.
When Ayub Khan was the president of Pakistan, during those 7 years, all great things happened. You know, dams were made, industrialization, what not.
You see Pakistan again on that kind of era of growth.
Well, yeah, I mean it is. But we, at the same time, we need to start a debate, a great debate on all these. Where are we going wrong with the system? Where are we going wrong with the 18th Amendment? All right, within 18th Amendment, there are some great things that they did. But there are some blunders that they made. I would say, if I don't exaggerate, blunders in a way that there are few things that need to be looked into. You know, all these provincial capitals getting power, whether it served the purpose or not, whether it changed lives of the people or not, we can at least evaluate certain clauses and fix them. Have a debate with consensus, of course. So consensus is important, but consensus can only be made with people who are above their personal interest.
So you don't see leaders like who are abroad at this time returning to reclaim their thrones?
Leaders, you call them leaders?
Well, I mean, as in party leaders. Yes.
They are not leaders. They are convicted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Leader will never leave the country. Leader will always stay here. Leader is Imran Khan. Nawaz Sharif is an absconder declared by the court. I'm not saying that. You're not saying that. PTV is not saying that. Court said it. So we're just repeating what the court said. He is not coming back. He will be brought back. I mean, his brother gave this affidavit that he'll bring him back, and he has committed contempt of court now.
Right. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being with us today. We had a very candid conversation with Senator Faisal Javed. We talked about the no confidence motion. We talked about the role of allies. We talked about what the party's future looks like. We talked about the Prime Minister's plans for the party. Thank you so much for joining us today on Perspective.